Hey everybody, welcome to the Sunday Night Overtime, and tonight we got something exceptionally special. We normally have a bunch of highlights, we got a bunch of sound, but no, we got something really nice going on today. We're talking CIAA football, and I got two guests with me right here. I'm talking about Adrian Jones of Shaw University and David Bowser of St. Aug. Thank you two for being in here, and it's not going to be long. We're finally going to get some CIAA football back, and it's been a year and a half now. They've since they broke this thing down. Let me start with you first, there, Coach Bowser. How nice is it going to be to get back to some sense of normalcy when they start actually playing games here again in about a month?
Oh man, I can't wait. It's just November 2019 last time seen a game played in the CIAA, and then on top of that, spring of 20, everything was shut down, and this past fall we're going to play, we're not going to play, and then we found out, I think late July, that we weren't going to play, and then maybe the spring, and then it got canceled again. So it's just great to finally know we're going to have football.
Piggybacking off that spring, we talked about it. I went up to your all spring game a little while back, and I mean, I've seen crowds at games before, but I've not seen the enthusiasm that came out to a Shaw. It's got to make you feel good to know that you've got that kind of support from the students and the campus. I mean, that was a spring practice, and they showed up for that.
I mean, it's absolutely amazing just seeing those fans come out there and see us in the spring, and it gives our guys a little added to trying to do some great things this year at Shaw University. So I'm very excited about seeing what the future holds.
Now we'll get to your team here with the Bears in just a second with the rankings and where everything is. But Coach Bowser, I wanted to focus back to you here. You got the job over there at St. Aug, named head coach, and then almost immediately, pandemic hit. They shut everything down. Now, is that helpful or hurtful in that you've got a little more time to set up how you want things done, because you got a little more time to back up and kind of, put your plan in place? Is that helpful, or are you like, man, we got to get this thing on the road here?
Well, you really would love to get the football part in, but from a structural standpoint, we were able to get 3 recruiting classes. The kids that were already there, we were able to keep some of those that we felt like were important. Then you bring in a class last year, and what winds up happening is now you pile in another class, so it elevates the competition, and that's the biggest thing. At our level, competition is the key.
It's almost like having 2 freshman classes. Obviously, they got some time in, but 2 freshman classes almost with recruits. How tough is that to keep everybody, because there's no hierarchy now? Everybody showed up, ain't nobody played a game. They all feel like they should be out there. How tough is that to keep everything going?
Well, it's not going to be tough because, I mean, if you're a competitor, you're going to either work your way up or you're going to hold on to your spot. So I look at it from every day, decide to dog it, see what happens. Pick a day you want to sit and see what happens. So I think the competition is going to be great, and with them packed in the same class,
right,
now you got to really step your game up, because you could mess around and be behind that guy for the next 4 years.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. That's a long time to wait. I don't know if anybody, I don't know anybody wants to wait like that.
Exactly.
And speaking of guys that have been getting after it too, Coach, if there's one thing that the Shaw Bears have, it's depth. You've got, I mean, what is there a position that you don't have? At least somebody, doing this over somebody's shoulder to try and get some playing time.
I don't think we do, and that's what you want to create. If you look at any championship team, is depth is the key. We've been pretty good the last 2 or 3 years, but what we lacked was depth. When one person went down, we didn't have the next guy to step up, and that's the key to our success this year, that we have a guy that is looking over their shoulder because they're scared to give up their position.
Dad always said motivation was simple. Get rid of the unmotivated. So it looks like you got more than enough bodies there to get them out there. I want to bounce back to you there, Coach Bowser, with showing up at St. Aug. Everybody's got a system that they want to put in place. Everybody's got their thumbprint. There's something that they want to bring. What's the first thing that you saw that you had to have with your team? Was it a new system? Was it a new offensive coordinator, a strength coach, was defensive coordinator? What was the first thing you said, you know what, this is going to be the biggest impact, I got to get this straight? Well,
the biggest thing was to get a weight room and get a strength coach in there, because football today, and we were talking about this in the room, it's year round, and you got to be able to captivate that time in the summer, and you don't understand how important the weight room is until your body starts getting banged on week after week, and the weight room makes a big difference. So the biggest thing was to get a strength coach in. We had to get somebody in there, and improvements to the weight room.
And we're talking about weight rooms and strength coaches here. Your social media was pretty active with that. I'd look on, I'd pick my phone up. I got an alert. There's more guys throwing steel and iron around. What's going on with it? So it didn't seem like you guys shied away from the weight room there, Coach.
That's one thing that we did. You know, during the pandemic, we had to get bigger, faster, stronger. And our guys, you know, it was fortunate enough to have those guys here in the spring. And that's one thing that we wanted to do, is get big. And those guys challenged us. You know, some days that we wanted to give them days off, and they were like, "No, Coach, there ain't no days off. We ain't won a championship." So I like how the guys are feeding off of my confidence. I always say a confident coach breeds a confident player, and that's absolutely what they are, confident.
I can't coach the want to is the problem. A lot of guys get in there. You need that person that, you know, gets that good want to, and it sounds like you got a lot of them in there.
Yeah.
Good run through the end of last year. I always like coming out to your games because you put some points on the board. I had a lot of fun watching you guys. What is it that is going to be the hallmark of this Bears squad when we go out there to watch you all play, that we're going to come away with saying, man, those guys really?
I'm gonna say 3 phases of the game. We got a great kicker. We got a great field goal kicker. We got a great punter. We got a great defense. Our defense is old. You got Devin Hunt. You got Daz Sturkey. You got D'Angelo McMillan, Kevin Sherman. Those guys been 4-year starters. Offensively a little young, but you know, our trigger man is back. Torian Campbell. Sidney Gibbs, our running back, who will be a sophomore this year. And the biggest thing is the trenches. We're big up front, and those guys can move some people around. So we're definitely looking forward to just being that complete team out of 3 phases: special teams, defense, and offense.
Oh, that's the first time I think I've heard a coach hit off the kicking game right off the top when they coach. That's the first time with that. And credit to the guys up front, if you could drill down on that a little more, because the games I remember, obviously you're putting the ball up in the air, throwing the ball down the field. It was the guys that kept him upright, and they did a very good job of that the last time I saw. It was 2 years ago, I know, but they were doing a great job of keeping him protected.
Yep, definitely. Like I said, just the protection is key. And like I said, we're young on offense, but those guys got a lot of playing time in 2019, and we've had a chance to watch a lot of film, and the maturity is there that we're able to teach them football instead of just being physical on the football field, but actually knowing how to dissect the film has been key for us.
It's been 2 years since you got there. You haven't had a team to actually coach up. You've had them in the practice, and everybody looks good in shorts and helmets. I mean, heck, I looked awesome in shorts and helmets. But so I'm not going to ask you to give me what your team's going to look like. But what are you looking for from your team, these Falcons, this year, that you're trying to get them to really dot every I and cross every T on their coach?
Well, the biggest thing is guys coming in to compete. Because when you're in our situation where it's a lot of the unknown, the one thing you don't want to doubt is the effort that you're receiving and the level of confidence that the kids have. Mm-hmm. Those 2 things. I tell guys, I would rather not play you and you keep your confidence than for me to put you out there before you're ready and you lose your confidence. Mm-hmm. So I'd rather for you to be mad at me because I redshirted you, because I know what you can do once everything clicks, than to put you out there. Because I tell people, CIAA, they're grown men out there. I said, there's a difference now. Yes. You come out of high school, there's grown men out there. So you're going to see a different kind of football. Yeah, you may have done all these things in high school, and that's great, but when you move up, you know, that pool gets tighter, and you better be ready. And sometimes a redshirt year, what guys don't realize is weight room, good eating, getting yourself mature, and then you just build on that. But if I throw you out there too soon, which is my biggest concern, because we're going to be a young team, I got to find the ones that are ready to go early, because you can't let them lose their confidence. You know, you'll look in their eyes, and it's like you see the back of their head. You got problems on game day.
What do they say, glass eyes?
Yeah.
There you go.
Uh-oh, we got problems. And you nailed it. We're not talking about a squad here where they're just throwing out, you know, guys that are just barely playing. We're talking about grown men, and they find out quick. It don't take but a couple of snaps. What Tyson say, everybody got a plan till you got hit in the mouth. First 2 snaps, first series, that's when you look out there and go, okay, who really wants this? And that's really when you find out who doesn't want it too.
Absolutely.
Got to take a short little break here, but when we return, much more CIAA football. And when I was talking to some people about you coming to St. Aug, and because of your history at Fayetteville, they literally told me, oh, that's just going to be the same shade of blue. It's just a little bit off. It's just going to be Fayetteville North, and don't even worry about it. We're not going to be looking at that, right? You've got a whole new thing coming here.
Oh no.
Taking the best parts, obviously.
Well, you know, you spend time under Kenny Phillips and Richard Hayes, you learn great things. And so you pull from that. But what I will say is that, you know, you sit around and coach will tell you this, you're an assistant coach and you got this big Big Bill Hayes used to call it a U file. And he would always say, well, when you become a head coach, then you do that. So he said, keep your U file. And we always have things that we want to do, that we want to see different. Some people may say, well, I want to run the football. Well, how do you want to run the football? You know, maybe you're a power guy. Maybe you want to be fast. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in there and just see what our guys do well. Now, defensively, it's a trademark in the CIAA. You got to be able to fly around. You got to be physical. You know, most of us are going to be even front people. So you have those foundations. And then in the kicking game, he hit nail on the head. Every day, I'm always checking, and I'm looking for a kicker, a punter, because you want to make sure. How many games has someone lost because the kicking game came up short?
And special teams will lose you two or win you two.
That's it. And so he hit the nail on the head. You got to go out and find that kicker, the punter. Hey, we're talking now holders. If I'm looking at a quarterback, I want to see if they've held. I mean, that's important. I want an athletic long snapper. Look at him right now.
Sorry, holders is what you said?
Yeah, there we go.
That's the first. I've never heard that now.
There's been some games lost. Hey, I'm a Cowboys fan. I saw what happened I saw what happened with a bobbled hold.
So are they still them boys? Is that, don't answer that. Don't send the mail. I'm sorry. Send the emails to Todd Gibson, by the way, if you want to do that kind of thing there. Coach, I want to ask you about getting back to it, if you would. The last decade or so, last couple of years anyway, it's been kind of tough for Shaw football, but we're not talking about a squad that doesn't have a history of winning championships here. How important is it to reestablish and to get there, especially with the guys that you have this year?
The most important team is dictating our destiny, you know, not putting it in someone else's hands.
Right.
The last few years, we lost to Fayetteville State. We win all the other games, but we're hoping that Fayetteville State lose a game so we can go to the championship.
Right.
It's every game, we're going to take one game at a time and just make sure we focus on each game of the week. We want to win a national championship. You know, you might think I'm crazy, but at the end of the day, you got to speak things into existence. I really do think that we have a team that a championship caliber team. Not, like I said, not just CIAA, but on a national stage.
It's only crazy until it happens, and then everybody goes, "Oh, he was ahead of his time. He saw that one coming. There's no problem with that now." And the thing that really made me just kind of go, "Wow," with your players, is that they're not stopping and they're not slowing down because of the pandemic. I told you guys before we got out here when I played in college, when we broke for camp, we broke. We're done. Hey, take care. Out. Yeah. And you know, when do we got to be back? 2 months. Don't call me. But your guys stuck around and really hit the books hard. And I was amazed that you got grad students that are coming back and playing for you. That's got to make you as a coach, not just as a coaching them up in football and on the field, but coaching them up in life too. Make you really feel good about hitting a nail on the head, bringing these guys into the world as men and viable members of society. I'd have to think, Coach.
Well, as a football coach, you always want your guys to graduate. Yeah, we want to win football games, but the key is graduating. Me, a coach, wouldn't be here right now if it wasn't for football. And I always say, use football for what it's worth. Get your degree. It actually was a blessing for the pandemic. You know, those guys could focus on the academics, and not only that, we get our mentals together. Yeah. You know, sit back and figure those small things out that you got to do to be champions.
Well, you look at it as an opportunity and not as an obstacle, is what it was, and that's what you guys. You know, some people looked at it and went, that can't work out. Pandemic going on, but your guys didn't do that, and especially your guys too. They hit the books hard. Yes. How many of them hit the perfect?
We had 6 football players with a perfect 4.0 GPA.
Wow.
6 of them.
And that's the kind of stuff you put on the locker room wall right there. And everybody out there, if you're not, you need to be doing that. That's amazing, Coach.
Yeah, I'm very proud of them, because what happened is a lot of our energy, because as you know, we had an extreme circumstance because we lost our president to COVID. So we had to really rein things in the fall, and we just focused on the academic side. And I told those guys, it's 3 phases to your life. It said your educational side, your social side, and your academic. I said, when anything's out of whack, if your personal's out of whack, you're not going to be good in the other 2 areas. Systematically, the GPA began to climb, and it became a competitive thing. Dontre Gilliard, who's going to graduate in 2.5 years from college, who was all rookie quarterback, getting ready to graduate, 2.5 years.
Say that one more time for anybody that might not have been paying attention.
DeAndre Gilliard will be graduating in December, and he's already planning to go to graduate school at North Carolina A&T. He was all rookie. We sat out last year, and then he's going to play this fall and graduate. And so when those other guys got the 4.0, he came back in the spring and challenged himself to get a 4.0. A true competitor is going to compete at everything. And so when he saw all these other guys hit 4.0s, he was like, I want to do it too. And we saw the GPA systematically jump. Now our goal is to be able to get over that 3.0 threshold. And, you know, it's there. And like Coach said, how can you tell kids that you care about them and you don't hit all phases of their life? Like he said, the mental, you know, their social and the academics and the athletic side. You got to be involved the best you can. They may not like the things that you say to them, but at the moment when they think about it, they'll be like, you know what, Coach Jones had my best interest, Coach Bowser had my best interest, because sometimes love isn't about making you feel a certain way, but making you think.
And there's one guy in particular I need to ask you about that is his setup is incredible, what he's doing here. Jaleel Scroggins, just explain that for everybody, because I'm going to screw it up.
For one, he's an all-conference football player. He's a preseason all-conference football player this year. Two, he's at NC State getting his master's in accounting, and he's also taking classes at Shaw University as well. So that says a lot about that young man, that he's going to 2 different schools, playing football, and being a dad at the same time.
At playing at a high level and being a dad.
At a very high level.
Stick around, got to take one more break, but when we come back, we're going to talk rankings. Do they matter? And can I keep these guys in here to, you know, talk about all these things when we return? The preseason projections.
You just want to talk.
No, I said,
Got stay?
sit down. You need to stay too.
Okay, I was getting ready to say.
Middle of the pack. I mean, you know, not the greatest, not the worst. Right there in the middle basically means that half of them got respect for you, half of them don't have respect for you. I mean, not the worst place to be. I thought you'd be ranked a little bit higher, especially with the way you finished up. How you feel about that ranking, Coach?
It added a little fuel to our fire. And at the end of the day, preseason is preseason. That's why they call it preseason. We had the most guys voted on as all conference, which was 5. It is what it is. Our guys are definitely motivated, and they're looking forward to proving some people wrong. But at the end of the day, in order to get respect, you got to gain respect. So that's what we out to do, is get our respect.
Yeah, I feel
All
like
right.
I know Rodney Dangerfield. Go ahead, talk to us. What did Rodney Dangerfield? Go ahead.
Well, the Shaw University Bears are ranked to finish 6th in the CIAA. The St. Aug squad here was 12th. That's 12th out of 12 teams, and I gotta think that that's got to be because of the obviously a new head coach, with obviously a year off as well with the way things ended. So do you put the 12 on the side of the wall and just let it be a reminder, or you hold that speech in your back pocket for when you need it to break something out here once in a while?
Well, really, at the end of the day, we just had to understand that our league is a great league. Okay, so the people that are in the top 6 or 7. I said it was tough trying to vote on it. Now, what you got to look at with us is all the unknowns. You know, we know what Coach has done. Coach has been building this for 5 or 6 years. We know what Coach Hayes has been doing. He's been building that for 5 or 6 years. Coach Wilson's done a good job up at Bowie, and then you have all of that. So what do I, you know, when they look at it, I tell the kids that's not an indictment on you. That's what we have to do as a program to get to that level. And the thing that I want everybody to remember is this, man, and it's real simple. You got to knock them down one at a time, okay? So we'll be fine. The thing is, don't get so consumed with being picked 12th, and we forget about the fact we got to get ready for Tusculum, because that's going to be the most important thing. And so we're going to hold on to that, not forget about it, but at the same time, we're not going to wallow in it.
I was thinking, in a way, it'd be kind of nice to have, because nobody, especially like you were talking about, the reason you're ranked that way is because they don't know anything about you. And if you come out and hit them with it hard, and they find out pretty quick. I mean, I don't know of anybody that can adjust that fast, and as long as you keep hitting them with it, I think that'd be an advantage for you, wouldn't it?
Well, yeah, it would be, and it could be, but I still realistically, I know we're young, because I decided to go the high school route, even though we do have some returners, and those kids are going to have to adjust to a different kind of game, and they're going to have to stay focused, you know, because they can say, well, Coach, I won a state championship in high school. That's great. But I'm telling you right now, Coach got grown men over there. Like you said, guys with college degrees, and we got to be able to do what we need to do. And I think development, the weight room, the mental part of getting around the game, giving Coach Barber as the offensive coordinator and Coach Tate as the defensive coordinator opportunity over these next 2 months to prepare the guys. And that's part of the reason why we didn't play a 3rd game, and we're only playing 9, is we'll have 2 weeks before conference start. in immaculate words of Kenny Phillips, when they start giving out non-conference championship rings, I'll focus on non-conference. That's what Coach Phillips used to tell us.
The last thing I ask you here before I let you guys get on is what you're going to need, what you need week in and week out, what you need to see from your guys to be successful this year.
Discipline and being consistent. You know, we want to be a disciplined football team, and we also need to understand something good happened, we have to keep playing, and if something bad happens, we have to keep playing. It's never going to be perfect.
Coach?
We just got to have a short memory, because there's going to be some times that we're not going to have success, but we got to stay focused on the task. And then there's going to be times that we do have success, and we just can't be sitting there wallowing and enjoying it, and then it tides again. We just stay consistent, and every day.
You guys come in here and give speeches to us before we start doing these shows, man. Ready to go. I can't give you 4 quarters, not with this anymore. But, I'll give you a couple of downs anyway. Now, thank you both for coming in and enjoying hanging out with you guys. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, bro, so
and
much.
Can't wait to see these squads on the field this year. Thank you.
Looking forward to it. Thanks.